All right, so how many like this? You're spinning. Users don't like this. They don't like to have stuff spinning. When your back-end system does something, you submit some information, you're like, come on, you want your user to move on. They ain't got no time for that. Ain't no more waiting, come on. So, they get frustrated, start banging on the keyboard. What are you going to do about it? So, I'm Paul Borlin, I work for Compassion International. What does Compassion do? We release children from poverty in Jesus' name. And we take kids like this, malnourished. These kids here, it's very common. They go to the garbage dump, they find everything for their food. They find stuff to build their house, and they slap it together. We target kids and families that make less than $3 a day in the world. So, how do we do that? How do we do that? Okay. We link sponsors one-on-one with a child. So you sponsor a child, you make communication with them, and you get to see them grow. We educate them. It wasn't you. So they get educated, they get clothes, and they get to a point where they can actually truly be members of society in this world. I'm going to grab my mouse, because I want to be tied to keyboard. I'm glad this is being recorded.
We'll fix it in post.
We're agile. We all like to work in an agile environment, so I'm being agile now, changing. Okay. Is that going to work? There we go. So you would think, what does Compassion have to do with technology? Well, it started out that when they sponsored these kids, they'd have kids out in the middle, that would come out in letters, and then somebody had a big old ledger book, and the ledger book was on a shelf, and you had all these things, long process. Today, everything's automated. You take pictures of the kids, they get registered out in the field, we get the information, they get sorted, countries all over the world get to see the available kids, and it's all automated. This is a picture that was taken a couple months ago. It's by somebody out in the field. They built this hut out over a cliff in the middle of nowhere. They took the pictures, they use the laptop, take pictures of the kids, register them, and they come to this one spot. They get a 2-bar signal in that exact spot, so they built it out. Who wants to walk out on that rickety thing? It's kind of cool. So we're even expanding technology into the field, remote places. So what are we talking about today? How's Compassion? So what are we talking about now? What are message brokers? And what are the advantages of using a message broker? So I'm glad we started getting a little more organic. So if you guys want to ask me a question while we're going, please do. I put my name up here in case you forget. So just call out my name and we'll stop and do Q&A. So what is a message broker? This is a financial broker. Not the same thing, but similar. You have a middleman. Message broker is also known as an integration blah, 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 blah. If you want to go to Wikipedia, there it is. The important part of this is software applications communicate by exchange formally defined messages. So a good analogy of this I like to give to people who are technical and non-technical is analogous to the post office. Postal service. So the postal service, you make your message or your bill or whatever, you put an envelope and you write an address on it. And then you put it in a nice little box like this. So even though I'm paying my bill for Verizon, I don't have to know where is that the person who fills out the bill, stuff like that, is that. I just put it in this box. Postal Service takes it and then puts it into another box. And I don't care who goes to that box. It could be my Aunt Myrtle, Uncle Dave, Cousin Jenny. I don't care who gets that message out of that box. All I care about is it gets to that box. So you get your sender, goes through a system, a broker, the Postal Service, and ends up in a mailbox. Same thing with a message broker in the middle. You get this application on the left, sends a message to a box. The broker knows which other box to put it in, and the other service picks it up out of this box when it feels like it. If the service is down, its messages will still be waiting for it. And we'll get into those details more. So why use a message broker? I started alluding to a couple things. So who wants to stand in the line up here? Let's say you're paying your Verizon bill. I don't want to have to go to Verizon, especially if Verizon's in the middle of Texas. I don't want to have to drive to Texas, stand in a line, and wait at a teller while the teller processes my payment, and it says, okay, goodbye. Instead, I want to take a message, put an address thing on it, send it out, goodbye. I don't care. Do it at your own leisure. So message broker allows you to do asynchronous work. Things that maybe your front-end user doesn't care about. Just send out the message. You don't care if you have back-end services there. You just let your back-end services, whoever, take care of it whenever. As a front-end, I just want to give you the message and move on with my life. It's also a great way to deal with back pressure. So what is back pressure? So this is a great example of back pressure, a dishwasher. So a dishwasher, you got a stack of plates next to him, and that's his back pressure, but he has to wash all those plates. Now, we would all agree, hopefully, that if the busboy or the waiter brought one plate at a time back to the dishwasher and waited and watched him to wash the dish before he could leave, we think it would be ludicrous. Because the waiter's time, busboy, everybody's time is wasted. Instead, they just take a stack of dishes, stack it there, and when the dishwasher gets to it, he gets to it. Additionally, there are peak times and there's low times. So right after dinner rush or something like that, there'll be a lot of dishes there. But, as the shift goes on, the dishwasher eventually takes care of it. I'm not sure I'd want the dishes on the guy on the left. So I have a real example of back pressure. So we're from Philips Respironics. We have CPAP devices. CPAP devices, you wear them at night. They give a little pressure. It's for people who snore and various things. So back a while ago, I don't know how many years ago, they decided, okay, well, we'll start recording like the breath rates and flow and stuff like that, so the doctors can see, is this really working for you? And it evolved to, you got to bring your device. You plug it in, download the data, and then look at it. Then it evolved to like, well, it's clunky to bring my device, put it on an SD card, so they did that. The next evolution was to put a modem, cellular modem into these devices, and when a user pushed the button, it would send off the data, and the doctor could look at it at leisure. You just have a phone conversation with your doctor. Then the Dream Station came out. Somebody had a great idea because they weren't getting the data that they needed when they needed it. Said when the user turns off the machine in the morning, send the data. Sounds great. What's the problem with that? Everybody wakes up at the same time in the morning. Our systems got crushed. So we tried spinning up more nodes. We tried all these things. Spinning up more nodes got all of its problems with it. There's cost, whatever. Verizon threatened to cut us off at one point because we were just going through the roof. So we had to solve the problem. That's when a message broker came in. So the data that came in was just kind of a reporting system. It wasn't necessarily something that needs to be done right now in real time. So all we're going to do is get the data off that device, tell the device goodbye. Another problem was we would let the device hang on the line while we put it in our reporting systems and parse the data and all this other stuff. All we want to do is get the data off, we put it in a message in the message broker, and our backend systems that process this could process it at their leisure. So by the time we got midday or something like that, everything was in the system in a couple hours, rather than systems crashing. So what are some advantages of a message broker? You can have multiple servers and nodes for one broker. So they coordinate together, and if you have one, some people said a message broker is a bottleneck. You can have multiple nodes that can handle the load that you need. They can also be synchronized. So let's say it talks to this machine, it'll synchronize across the other machines so that if that one goes down, you haven't lost your data, the other two have it to move on with life. So guaranteed delivery. Once the broker says, hey, I've got the message, you're good to hang up and move on with life. Load balancing, sort of mentioned that. And message broker can be alive when your backend application isn't. So let's say you want to do a massive upgrade of your backend systems. You can take your entire backend systems down. The broker's still taking the front end stuff or whatever the other side of it. And when that other system comes back up, it just processes the stuff off. It can handle failover. A lot of the message brokers are smart enough that you can just now insert a new node into that cluster and keep on moving with life. No data loss, we mentioned that. That is configurable. You can say, I don't care about data. Example might be stock trading. A second or 2 seconds is like infinity in stock trading, from what I understand. So you might not care about that. Just like if my server goes down, I don't care. Just wipe it all out. Distribution. This is one of my favorite things of the message broker, and I'll demonstrate it in a demo later. So the publisher, the sender, this is where the Postal Service kind of breaks down to the one-to-one relationship. I write an address, it goes to one mailbox. With a message broker, you can actually distribute across multiple queues, multiple mailboxes. So anybody that shows up says, hey, I want a copy of that message, the broker will give it to each one of those. So then, in REST, let's say we have a REST system, everything knows about everything else. When you have a new service that comes up and needs those same information, the developers get in there and start coding, and okay, there's a new thing we got to hit to make sure we talk with that thing. With the message broker, that new service comes up, the sender is unbeknownst, and that new service gets the message. Likewise, if that other service goes down, we don't break because, oh, we got a 500 because that service isn't there. This is great for architectures like event-driven or reactive design architecture, where you're emitting events constantly, and they could be distributed to whoever needs them. Sort of analogous to Santa Claus passing out candy. The kids that are there get the candy, and then maybe there's a kid that says, hey, Santa Claus, I got to go. Can you put some candy over here for me? Whereas Santa Claus doesn't have this. Fake Santa Claus, the real Santa Claus might know it, all the kids, right? But the fake Santa Claus just says, I don't know who Billy is, I'm not going to go find him. He just hands up candy, use it. Same thing with the service. When the services show up, say, give me this thing, the broker says, okay, here you go, unless you say, hey, keep this queue durable, I'm going to leave a little bit. When I come back, I'll open messages. A misconception with brokers, I've heard both technical and non-technical people, but they ask me stuff. They say, oh, so how do we get RabbitMQ How do we get RabbitMQ to do this? Or how does RabbitMQ handle the financial and billing and the... No, it doesn't do any work. Just like you don't want your postal man opening your mail and trying to pay your bill for you. You just want him to deliver it. Just, the broker does nothing. There are exceptions. There are brokers out there that will give you features like Amazon's SQS. You can put you can use Lambda functions in it. I would recommend, from experience, don't do that. It's a nightmare. It's sort of ESB mindset as well. ESBs handled stuff. They opened up messages and did this and that and other thing. I would say the best uses for those are legacy systems that you can't do something with for some reason. You can't change the code, so now you have to open up and unwrap it and do something with it. Another misconception, brokers don't talk to anybody. Everybody talks to the broker. Just like your mailbox doesn't come in and say, hey, here's the mail for you. You have to go out to your mailbox and get the mail out physically. There's multiple ways of communicating, a lot of standards. It's a nice thing that there's standards. Some brokers support multiple, some of them just one. There's push methods and there's pull methods. So depending on what broker you have, there's ways of doing that.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
So when you said that these messages, I just want to understand like the format and a little bit about. So once the broker receives a queue, like say there's like 200 messages or something from the CPAP machine, like what format is it temporarily put in a database? Like how are those persisted before they're handed off?
Yeah, it depends on the broker, how they're persisted. The contents, all brokers don't care what's in the contents. It can be, typically they're byte arrays because it doesn't care what it is. So it's up to you to define, it could be an image, it can be string, JSON, whatever you want it to be. And it just cares about the envelope around it.
But is it store, is there like I'm using the word database, but how is that persisted on the server?
It depends on the broker, how they decided to do it.
So some do use databases and some don't?
I don't think they're proprietary things. I know like RabbitMQ uses Erlang to kind of persist that data. Amazon, don't know where they put it, but I'm sure they've got something behind it. Okay,
Okay.
So it's not private. I think they do bring cash with it.
they do. So there's in-memory stuff, and you can persist the disk. You have options for that. You can do lazy loading, where you have some in memory all the time and you pull the disk. So some of these brokers are highly configurable. Yeah. Additional features, you have retry logic. Broker will automatically retry it. Notice that the consumer disappeared before giving an act, so it'll put it back in queue for you. And you can say, I want to go try that like 3 times, and after that, I want you to throw it off to a dead letter queue. And they have that letter queue logic where you just put it off a place that will just sit there until either another application, dead letter application processes that and does it, or humans come in and say, okay, what's going on here? And move it back over to the main queue. Time to live, you can say, don't deliver this message until tomorrow because I want to quit and leave before I get this function. So you can delay delivery. You have auto delete. If it's sitting out there for 2 seconds, an hour, maybe you just want to delete, get rid of it because I don't care anymore. Persistent or transient data. And you can have limits. Okay, I've got 100,000. You guys all have to stop giving me stuff. And there are different types of distribution. Won't go into that, but you can say, okay, everybody, like Santa Claus, everybody here, I'll give it to you, or only people with these certain criteria, I'm just give that to them. So there's a lot of ways to distribute the data. So if you're still confused at basics of what a message broker does, you can think of it as this guy. Well, look, I already told you, I deal with the asynchronous message delivery so that applications don't have to. I have message skills. I'm good at dealing with messages. Can't you understand that? What's wrong with you people? So if you haven't seen Office Space, that makes no sense to you, but if you have. Okay, so here's a list of some brokers that are out there. Some of them pretend to be brokers, and some of them are different flavors of brokers. So you have a lot of options out there depending on what your needs are. When not to use a message broker. If you've got giant messages, typically they say they can handle them, and they can, but if you've got a lot of big messages and a lot of throughput, it's going to be painful. I've had to do that, and we exploded the message into many pieces and then reassembled it on the other side. If synchronous communication is desired, don't use a message broker. If you need to know right at that point, you want synchronous, you don't want to use a broker. And as always, don't use technology unless it's important. Don't just throw a broker in there and just say, hey, I heard this talk on this message broker thing. Let's implement it. Only use it if it's needed. So if simple, direct stuff works, then use that. Great usages for it to offload work that needs to be done later. If you don't care if it needs to be done right now, that's a good place to do it to handle back pressure. If you need a quicker response for the user per se. One place that I've worked with a broker, we just got a pre-auth of a payment. We didn't care about actually processing the payment and all the other stuff and putting it in a reporting system. Just got a pre-auth, okay, it looks like you have a credit card, went back, stepped back in system for processing, the user can move on with life. If it did fail later, then we sent them an email, hey, your payment failed. Like I mentioned, you can handle back pressure. A lot of places with that spikes through showing, the first reaction is like, let's spin up more nodes. Let's just throw out money out the door for the company. If you don't need to, let's handle back pressure as things wane off. And if you need more than one receiver and you don't want your application or the publishing part to know about all the things it needed. All right, so that PowerPoint, let's see something cool. Okay, let's see here. So I have here one publisher and 3 subscribers. So this is a simple Go program I wrote, and I'm connecting to RabbitMQ. And I'm going to have a consumer over here. Consumer number 1. And where's my Rabbit? So here's RabbitMQ. I've got one consumer, one queue. The consumer woke up and said, hey, here's my mailbox. Anything with a certain address, I want it. So I go back to my publisher. The application is just a simple enter some text. And as soon as I hit enter, it'll send a message up there. Here. say hi. The consumer got it on the other side. If I take down this consumer, and I start sending some messages to it, you notice there wasn't a delay waiting for the consumer. I just went on with life. I can sit here and go all day long, on with life. So this guy wakes up. His messages are there. And we got them all. You can also have a second consumer. And as I clear some of this off. So now I didn't have to redeploy or reconfigure anything from my publisher. And I can say hi. Now both applications got it. And spin up a third, same thing. So now I have another application that came up. Again, my publisher had no idea that there's another consumer. And they got the data as well. And let's take these two down. And let's put all these on consumer 1, queue. So now they're all listening to the same queue. So who do you think is going to get the message when I send it? Any guesses?
Random. It's just Borlin.
Random, okay.
It's a single delivery.
Okay, let's say hi again. Oh, it's over there. What about these guys? They're the consumer 2 as well. There's 2. Oh, look what they got over there.
That's random.
It's sort of round robin. If I were to sit here all day, some of them would get duplicated. But it sort of tries to share the love. So with AMQP, this is the protocol I'm using, there's some smart logic in there saying, hey, I got a message for you. And if it doesn't respond, like it says, okay, move on to the next one. So there's a constant open TCP connection, and there's communication going back and forth. And there's a push method. So that is smart enough to handle all that stuff. What else cool things can I show you with this?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you're talking about some of the logic, which to my understanding is what makes message brokers different than message buses. But how complex can your logic be? Because you can't get inside the message. So it would be like, if I get a 400 back from trying this service, if you have basically a bunch of if-thens, or can you, like, how, is there a broker for the brokers? Or do you just write that?
No, it's different from an ASP or a message bus, such that there is no caveat. With caveat, there's no smart routing. There's no opening the letter. There's no, although brokers do break the rules and they do that, but it's typically meant for one-to-one. It just wants to route it. That's it.
Okay.
If you need some complex things where you have a legacy system that you usually can't change the code, you might need a bus or something like that to unwrap that. Or at least receive it as a REST endpoint, unwrap it, and then deliver multiple.
And the things you do have access to will be the response, right? So if your broker says, like, check and see if I can hit this node or something, and it comes back like it can't yet or something, it can put it back in the queue. So it can deal with return codes and stuff like that, just not the content stuff in the package.
Yeah, it's only knows that it needs to deliver it. If it can't deliver it, then you might do something else. Typically, with a message queue, if nobody picks it up, it'll just sit there forever until humans come in or somebody takes it off. Or if there's a failed delivery, it'll just put right back in the front of the queue. If that, where we misconfigured something, had an error, and it just would error, come back, error, come back, error, come back.
And you can configure the specification to say, like, if something's been sitting for a certain amount of time, like, surface it in a way, like, so much paid attention.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the brokers are first in, first out. I know Amazon has those where you can not do first in, first out. You can do it kind of random, how they distribute it across the country. And it's like, well, here's some messages for it. Oh, look, I found some more. But there's no guarantee of first in, first out. But like RabbitMQ is all first in, first out. Other questions? I can do all kinds of things of bringing these down, or up and down, different combinations of the basic is that if they're online, look at the message for that queue. If they're not there, it'll queue them up for them.
So what's your thought on monitoring and scaling based off the performance of the queue? So if you have a message that keeps failing, or maybe a note keeps failing, are you monitoring on that to see how many it's failing to receive and then scaling down and isolating and then scaling something to replace it? Is that something you monitor on?
I haven't, so let's take gravity queue, because most of them with that. The question was about scaling when maybe a certain node doesn't do as well. New Relic and App Dynamics and some other things have some plugins that you can actually get the queue size and throughput and kind of monitor those. After that, you would have to take that knowledge information and make some other thing, don't know what that is, to scale up your cluster or whatever. Typically, when the broker is having issues, it's not the broker's problem. Typically, it's your application doing something dumb with a message or something like that. So, Rabbit, which I've used most, is very robust. You can see the metrics on their website. Things will just flow through it faster than you can think. With that, a little caveat. Broker is an overhead. So it's just like you said, when not to use a broker, it's a little overhead. It will take sometimes like 5 seconds before the broker kind of coordinates and figures out, especially if you synchronize it with other nodes, to before that message is available. So if you need something that's really super quick throughput, broker now might not be your option, best option, because it is overhead in the middle.
I found with more time-sensitive messages like that, if you have a single entry point of an exchange, you can stack exchanges under that as well. Terrible choice of words. You can put exchanges underneath that as well. So you can take one message, distribute it to multiple other exchanges, and then deal with it. So you're getting it into your system even at that higher rate and not having to operate on it. I think people seem to be having the same thing as I did when I started, that it really shouldn't do anything, right? It's a message, just go put it somewhere, and if you ask the question, well, or where does it store, or what do I do with that? You're looking at it wrong. It's just like, I need it to go over there, and I'm just going to push it down to a connection, and then if that exists, there's no real error because it doesn't care, because nothing's there to eat it. So the monitoring on that kind of message broker system is different than the nodes that are consuming those messages, because they should be monitored separate, right? Those consumer nodes eat those messages and do what they want with it, as long as they get them from the message broker. But the message broker doesn't care. I mean, if they're going to live there and be what they call durable, which is like it gets written to disk and all that, they're going to be there when you come back again, just like these are. But if they're not, it doesn't care. The broker just, all it does is push those messages.
So I will say, with limited time and such, that this is just scratching the surface. This is some of the things that it can do. When you decide to implement it in your own environment, there's going to be some heartache as far as deployment, maintaining it, monitoring, and such like that. So it's not, but although I would say the Amazon stuff that I spun up, they take away a lot of the nightmare for you on a hosted solution. So a couple more things to mention before we end this. So here's my information. If you guys want to do message broker or something like that, you have questions, I'm happy to answer field those questions. I'm also on the Slack channel for the Colorado Springs Tech, so you can find me there. We'll throw a little shameless plug in. November 9th, 16th, we're hosting a global day of code retreat. And what that is people from all over the world host these events, and we learn. There's like 6 sessions of exercises. You learn various things, and together, we pair program, we give you a little exercise that'll tickle your brain, and then at various times of the day, we'll get to Skype with some organizations, maybe in Germany or something like that, doing the same time. And we'll go, hey, how's it going? How's your day going? And stuff like that. So registration is free lunch. There's only 30 spots, so feel free to come join us and meet some people in the community and tickle the brain with some things.
What's the level of, how friendly is it for different levels of experience?
That's a great question. The question was, what's the appetite for different levels, and I think all levels. If you're just like new to programming, if you're senior, we try to encourage people to help each other out in pairs. Some people have never worked in pairs before, and I myself and other facilitators walk around, make sure that somebody's not like, yeah, move, I'm just going to do it myself. We want everybody to learn and gain from the experience. So it's a very friendly environment. I attended this in Pittsburgh one time and had a good time. Another thing, like this morning, wake up in the morning and like, do I have to do this on Saturday? But it had to be a lot of fun. So I encourage you to spread the word and sign up. Any last questions? Amount of time?